It's been a while since there's been a good Darth Vader comic, but issue number 26 that came out a couple of weeks ago has been very much intriguing, fantastic, and I made it my mission to cover it at some point. We're going to do that today. We're going to split it in two because there's so much going on in this comic that I wanted to talk about every single one of them in detail. And part number one of this comic is going to be really nostalgic, especially for Darth Vader, who goes back to childhood. In fact, this comic actually starts with a nostalgia bombardment. You see, this story is called Into the Sand. As you can see by the picture, it is reminiscent of Han Solo getting frozen in carbonite, but this time Darth Vader is being frozen in the sands of time, basically. The thing he hated the most, now he is trapped in it. Just so that we get the idea of what has happened before, the summary begins with Into the Sand. After listening to the plight of Kitster and Wald's community, Darth Vader and Sabé launched an attack against the corrupt governor Tauntaza, who has been working with Crimson Dawn. The governor has eluded Darth Vader's grasp twice, escaping to a fortress concealing within an artificial sandstorm. Outraged by this failure, Darth Vader ordered his command ship to target the governor's flagship should he fail to capture her the third time. Now, Kitster and Wald play a big role in this comic and in previous comics too. If you forgot, those are the two friends that he had during his pod racing days on Tatooine, the same ones we see in The Phantom Menace. And this artificial sandstorm has kind of the main foe here. As it's been throughout the 2020 comic series, Darth Vader goes into the vault of his memories again. And it starts with one of the most memorable scenes we know of Anakin and Padme on Naboo. Anakin is professing his disdain for sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating. It gets everywhere. Not like here though, everything is soft and smooth. Now we cut to Darth Vader on Gabrador 3, where the forensics droid is trying to warn Darth Vader, but he does not need his assistance, and when he does, he will command it. Vader now is eyeing this vehicle that was put together by his friends. Kitster and Wald, of course, don't know that Darth Vader is, in fact, little Anakin Skywalker from Tatooine. You can see that Vader is touching the pod racer, knowing full well that Kitster and Wald might have been even inspired by him during his childhood. How Anakin built his own pod racer back in the day, they have now done the same. Now the droid warns everybody to take cover because in 4 minutes and 33 seconds, the artificial storm will hit everybody, except for Darth Vader, who takes a seat on the pod racer, and Wald even talks on Huttese that Darth Vader is doomed. Again, he does not know that this is Anakin Skywalker. Wald continues to tell Ochi of Bestoon that only the greatest pod racer could drive a machine like that in a storm like this. Kitster couldn't even manage it, and he built it. Of course, Vader goes into his flashbacks, the same scenes we saw in The Phantom Menace, where you can actually see Kitster and Wald puttering around Anakin's pod racer that he built as a child. The only human to have ever won a pod race. Vader clicks the ignition and the engines are roaring with power. Everybody's stunned and led aback, even Wald and Ochi of Bestoon. It is working. Again, Vader goes into his memories of as a kid when he first realized that his pod race is fully functional and his mother was watching proudly from afar. Vader now puts the pedal to the metal as in a sweep he starts racing towards the storm, not away from it. The Sith Lord is well aware, in a storm, you either go around it or you go straight for it if you want to survive. Immediately, there starts to be complications. Rocks are being flung at Vader and his pod racer, but similar to how he did in the canyons of Tatooine, he knew how to evade large rocks and trees for that matter. As you can see here, Vader is maneuvering it no problem. This reminds him of the sands of Tatooine, where he and his mother would get lost frequently in the desert storm. Now there are even larger metal objects being flung towards him, but he has another secret weapon, and that is his lightsaber, which he ignites and start cutting off things that are unavoidable. Anakin finally catches up with his mother during the sandstorm, and he assures his mother that they will be fine and he will never leave her. You could actually feel the sadness that he is feeling right now all the emotions pouring out of him. Even behind Vader's mask, you could sense it. This pod racer has invoked a lot of feelings that he had buried long ago. The same ones that he felt even after the pod race, where Qui-Gon won the bet with Watto, and then Anakin had to leave his mother once and for all, leave her alone on Tatooine. He had broken his promise. It seemed so fast that as a child, Qui-Gon just pushed him into this new role as the Chosen One. Every Jedi was examining him, and Ki-Adi-Mundi and Yoda immediately fixated on his biggest fear, and that was his mother. He was afraid of losing her. Fear leads to anger. Fear is a path to the dark side. Anger then leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. All these emotions, from his mother's death to even Padme and his quarrels with Obi-Wan during Attack of the Clones, all these emotions came pouring out of him as he was not only racing to get out of the storm, but had to save what little remnants of Padme he had left. And of course, that is none other than Padme's handmaiden. Where Vader arrives in the wreckage, it is Kitster waiting for him and recognizes his racer, but Vader does not have any time for chit-chat. He immediately asks, "Where is Sabé?" Very much worried, as you can see by his tone. "In the storm," says Kitster, "that tank hit her speeder. I think she's underneath this metal." Now Vader starts getting worried if she is in fact dead, and he has lost his mother, Padme, his wife, and now the last thing that reminds him of the past, Sabé. The only thing that Vader or Anakin has been clinging to that reminds him of his past, of a better past. We're going to continue this in part 2 tomorrow, so thank you guys so much for watching this, and subscribe to watch what happens next. Leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you. Until then.